Hey guys, and thank you for joining us today for Author Chat. We are talking with the author of the book that I haven't finished, Fractured Tide. I'm like almost done. I was speed reading. We ended up having to go to the grocery store today and stand in line outside of Sam's. And I'm sitting there. I've got this in the cart. I love the carts now because they're like so tall. And I'm reading this as we're walking. And my 9-year-old's like, okay, let's go. And I'm like, okay, walking forward, reading, flipping the pages. So I've gotten all of that done within the hours of going shopping.
You're a fast reader.
Oh yeah, I've got like 110 pages to go. So I don't know how it ends, and that is just like that's killing me. Oh my goodness. So tell us about yourself and your book.
Okay, so my name's Leslie Lutz. I'm the author of Fractured Tide, which is a young adult thriller about a teenage girl who ends up, after a terrible scuba diving accident, ends up shipwrecked on an island. And at first she thinks that surviving is just about building a really big signal fire, attract the Coast Guard, find food and water. She's wrecked with her younger brother, who's 7, and a super hot guy that she has a crush on. And unfortunately, his ex-girlfriend, which is very complicated. But so she thinks it's just about, putting things together so that they can survive long enough for the Coast Guard to come. And then they start experiencing time loops on the island. And she realizes this is not a normal place and the Coast Guard is just not coming. So she's got to figure out, what is this place? What's happening? And how am I going to get everybody home? So that's the general, the elevator pitch.
Oh, man. Okay. So most of you guys know, and if anybody has any questions, toss them in the comments below and I will pop them on screen. I don't read the flaps of books anymore. I am 100% via the cover, which I just realized I left in the car.
Well, I've got it right.
The dust jacket is still.
I got it right here.
Yeah. I love that cover, by the way. That looks so awesome.
And you actually have the hardback, I think. And
yeah,
I don't even have the hardback yet.
How do you not have a hardback?
I didn't order it yet. Oh. It hasn't arrived in the mail. There's all, think about the virus and all of the things going on with the pandemic, is things are a little bit just chaotic, and a lot of industries just turned on their heads. I'm totally happy to wait for it, because right now I'm it's been an interesting time.
It's been crazy. I keep telling people that it's like I feel kind of like I'm out of the loop, because my life really hasn't changed since the pandemic, because I really didn't go anywhere anyway, other than finding a job, and I'm still going there. So my life really hasn't changed all that much, fortunately enough. But this book was insane. So I started reading it this morning, and the girl is going on a dive, and it's her job to keep track of the greenies and the people that don't know how to dive, and they go and stuff starts happening, and you're like, oh crap, she's dead. She's dead. Everybody's dead. Oh no. And my first thought of this is that I'm never going in the ocean again, ever. No, the ocean has been stricken off my list of places to go. I'm staying on land.
This was originally supposed to come out, I think, in August. Mm-hmm. And then they moved it up. They said, let's have it in May. It'll be a fun beach read. And I'm like, well, yeah, are you really going to get in the water after this?
Right. No.
But it is a fun summer thriller, because it's got, and especially now that a lot of us aren't getting out as much, it's nice to at least go see some sunshine and beach, even if it's just in your head.
Right. So why instill such fear and terror in us readers about the ocean and creatures and whatever this thing is? Because of course I haven't finished the book, so I don't know the ending. And I know they had commented that somebody thought it was a squid, a giant squid, and that they were close to the Marina Trench, and now maybe they're not, so they're not exactly sure where they are. Why
did I try to terrify everybody? I think I've always loved the water, and I don't know why, but scary movies like Jaws never kept me out of the water. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's because I'm able to compartmentalize. So even though I do find it like I was saying to you before the show, that I'm a little bit afraid of doing something like surfing where I can't see underneath the surface. And scuba diving, it's you can see all around you if you're diving in super clear water. So that's not as frightening. But I think it's a roller coaster ride to instill fear in yourself or others through some kind of thriller story. And I've always loved that. When I was 12, I was reading Stephen King, and I just liked the feeling of the escapism of a really scary story. And Halloween's always been my favorite holiday. So when I decided to write a book, I wanted it to be scary. I wanted it to be on the thriller horror kind of genre.
Well, you hit that. Like, you hit it and you just like obliterated it.
Okay, good.
Because my goodness. Oh.
Yeah, there's actually one of my favorite monster stories is The Mist. Have you ever read The Mist by Stephen King?
No.
Yeah, so this is terrifying, and it is not for young adults. It is an adult horror story, and I know they've re-released it it's a novella. They re-released it by itself. I've seen it at Target on the shelf. But I reread that there's a monster scene with tentacles, and I reread that several times, just trying to figure out, like, how does Stephen King do that? How does he make everything so terrifying? Yeah, so the Mist was one of those stories that sort of completely inspired me to write this monster scene that you have in the first third of the book.
Sorry, kids.
Yeah, no, I got one downstairs watching something.
Like, they
Daddy
don't
right
even
now.
know. It's like, the thing that if you see mom's computer, she's on her show. It's called silence, and you just back out of the show. But I want to go. Can I go to the park? It's like, there's how many other adults out there? You can't ask somebody else. Dad's out there, Nana's out there.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Yeah.
out
No, I know what I feel. I feel
automatically,
your pain.
mom.
Yeah, kids always go to you for everything.
See, here is a question. What was the most dangerous diving event you've ever experienced?
Oh, I think the most dangerous thing I ever did, I don't know if it was really dangerous, because although my main character is a super master diver, I'm just sort of an intermediate, just an okay diver. But I did go diving in San Diego in La Jolla, and it was super, not only was it very difficult conditions to swim out from the shore, and I was just breathing like a sprinter by the time I got to the buoy where we were going to drop. But once we got down there, you couldn't see anything, and there was so much silt in the water, and we were swimming in this kelp forest, and I suddenly realized, hey, this is a place full of sea lions and seals and stuff, and like, that's the food for great white sharks. Why am I scuba diving in an area with poor visibility and a bunch of the food of the great white sharks around me? And I'm like, oh, I'm already here. I guess I'll just keep going. And we got lost. That, like, the dive master who was taking us around, he even got lost. The visibility was so poor that day. And finally, we just surfaced. We couldn't find the buoy again. So I don't know if it was dangerous. It was just really uncomfortable. And then the other experience I had is another one in poor visibility, which was it wasn't dangerous. It was just freaky, diving in a lake in Texas, where once we got down really deep in this hole where we were doing some training, you couldn't, if you shined your light on your instrument, you couldn't even see that. You couldn't see that there was anybody around you, and it was and that actually inspired me to write a lot of those really deep diving scenes, which are coming up for you, where she finds the sinkhole in the middle of the island. Because
like when she climbed all the trees and she saw the one part where
what is that weird thing in the middle? What is that? So scuba diving for me, usually in my real life, is a way for me to overcome any kind of fear of the ocean, because you can see so well. So in the book, I'm like, let me take away the visibility and create fear. It's like being in a dark house, or like that scene in the end of Silence of the Lambs when she's in that. Oh no! Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Whoop. Oh, she unplugged her headphones. Whoopsie. Let's see. It says you're muted. Let's see. Unmute. Oh, you got to unmute it. If you can hear me, you need to unmute your mic. Oh. Oh no. Let me go message her. Your mic is muted. Your mic is muted. Let's see. Can I like write it on here? Oh, I probably can just toss on here. Your mic is muted. See if I can show it on there. All right. Oh, are you back? Nope. Still says your mic is muted. And it says I can't unmute her mic. Oh no. Let's see. Do you have another pair of headphones? Let's see. Okay, it looks like she's going to plug her headphones back in. Oh no. That's so weird. Well, sorry guys. While we're waiting for her to come back on, like this book is crazy insane. It is so good. No, I still can't hear you. It still says that your mic is muted and I can't unmute it. Maybe try, because I know that you don't have any type of settings. Oh wait, let's see. Guess. Play sound when they enter. No, it doesn't. It doesn't give me any control. Maybe try leaving and come back and. Oh wait.
Does that work?
Oh, there. Yep, that worked.
Okay, so I gotta apologize for all of that because that is my nightmare. That all that just happened live. So the thing broke off inside the microphone.
Oh
when it
no!
fell because my screen went suddenly dark. And I'm like, what happened? Did I lose power? And I moved and the microphone fell and then it broke and then I couldn't get it back
your
on.
screen went to sleep.
Yes,
Well,
I got to figure that one out.
That's weird.
Crap.
Usually they don't. It won't go to sleep if it.
Yeah,
knows.
it's plugged in. I mean, I have
Well, that's
power,
weird.
so I really don't understand what happened. So I got to figure that out before my live launch on Thursday.
Right, or just like
Really?
sit there and like move your mouse.
I don't know.
It's like I'm just gonna sit here and hit a button like for the hour I'm gonna be talking.
Yeah. So when you put this on YouTube, are you gonna edit out all like that?
Oh no,
3 minutes?
this is all live and it's taped on there. So what you see is what you get.
And enjoy, folks. This is me.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is the unedited me. Is that things go wrong, and this is not the first time that has happened.
It's the way
But I'm glad I'm back.
It's the way it works.
Sorry.
It just it makes it very real. But
oh yeah, real and lots of fun.
I spoke with I think it's Melissa the Mermaid years ago, and she goes out like way out and free dives with her tail on and stuff, and then she has scuba divers in the water taking her photos. And she had stated that about 5 feet out where she goes, she can't see anything. So past 5 feet, it's just blackness. Like they've had pictures of her and whales and stuff that she doesn't see the pictures until after, she gets back on. She doesn't know that it was there. Have you gone like out, like what's in the book, when they go down like 80 feet and stuff and to the shipwreck and.
Yeah, I based the first dive that you see in the book is based on a dive that I did off the coast of Key Largo in the Florida Keys. It's about 95 feet down, 100 feet down, a ship called the Spiegel Grove. And that's really what inspired the USS Andrews, which is what the ship they find at the very beginning. Because I was descending down this line, and it was really good visibility, like 50 feet, you could see well. And then suddenly the ship just sort of not explodes. That makes me look like it exploded. It did not explode. It sort of appears from the
Mhm.
deep in this super ghostly way. And yeah, that was one of my favorite diving experiences. Is diving the Spiegel Grove. I've never actually. Sia, the main character, goes inside of wrecked ships.
Mhm.
I've never done that. You have to have special training. You have to go through a special course because it's super dangerous to
Right.
do that. Um, but I've been diving around them, and peek inside and imagine what it's like to go inside. And so yeah, that kind of dive is one of my favorites.
How deep have you gone?
About 110, not very deep. No, I mean,
Oh.
for recreational diving, that's
Mhm.
not super deep.
Oh, wow. What's the deepest you can go for for what you do?
130-ish, I think, is
Okay.
what and after that, you're kind of getting into technical diving or
Mhm.
the area of technical diving. And yeah, you at that point, you're probably breathing a special mix like
Mhm.
nitrox or something like that. So, and the deeper you go, the more you're at risk of something called nitrogen narcosis, which actually figures into the plot of the book. That
Right.
she sees something in the wreck in chapter 1 and 2, and she thinks, "Is that real, or can I trust myself? Because I am kind of deep, and at 100
Right.
feet, you might actually get nitrogen narcosis,
Mm.
which causes you to take risks, and also can sometimes cause you to see things that aren't there." So that's why really deep dives are they're just on the riskier side. And I like the pretty fish. I like the pretty wrecks. I don't know if I really want to put on nitrox and go to down to 200 feet or something like that.
Oh, see, it just creeps me out so much. So one thing that they constantly talk about, that it's a part of their outfit that like her mom always wears. Now of course I don't remember what it's called.
Is it a BC?
No, no, not the BC, because that's the thing that keeps you buoyancy in the water, right?
Right, right.
Okay. I think it's under their thing, so like they don't get a rash or something.
Oh, rash guard. Yeah.
Yeah, what is that? I've never heard of that before.
Oh, so it's basically just a very thin it's a shirt that you
Mhm.
can a lot of kids will wear these when they go swimming, and they're long sleeved and up to here so that you can swim all day and not get a
Okay.
sunburn.
Mhm.
And they work really nicely underneath your wetsuit so
Mhm.
that you don't have this neoprene just kind of rubbing on your skin and
We
being
have those for
uncomfortable.
when we go to the water parks and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
because,
rash guard.
a lot of the times the water is really, really cold, that helps keep you warm too.
Yeah,
Nothing like having your little kid, swimming in the pool and her lips are turning blue. It's like, "Oh, yeah, it's time to get out now."
yeah, that it gives a little extra warmth too. But
Mhm.
so that's pretty much the main character spends almost the entire novel wearing a rash guard because it's one of the only things, and bikini bottoms. That's what she's
Right.
wearing. That's what she washes up on the island in.
Fun
Yeah,
times.
yeah, she gets pretty sick of it.
Right? I don't blame her. Okay, so Jennifer wants to know, have you ever free dived?
No, I've never done that. I really admire people who can. And I've heard they can go, like the grandmother in Fractured Tide, they can go amazingly deep and hold their breath for a very long time, the way the main character has been practicing, sometimes 2, 3 minutes. But nope,
Mhm.
that is not in my skill set.
Can you open your eyes under the water down there? Or not
Yeah,
so much because it's the
yeah.
salt water?
Oh no, it's not a problem. Actually, one of the things you do when you're training to scuba dive is they have you take your mask off underwater
Mhm.
and then put it back on and clear it as a test. And the
Mhm.
reason for that is you never know when your mask could just get knocked off your face. And if you don't know how to get it back on and get the water out of it, then you're just gonna
Mhm.
be like, you'll be panicking,
Right.
and panic is bad when you're
Right.
diving. So you don't want to do that.
'Cause
So yeah,
don't
you
you have
just
to use, like, your air to get the water out or no?
not from your regulator, but you
Mhm.
basically you tip your mask and just blow out of your lungs, and it blows the
Oh.
water out of your mask. It's easier than it looks. It looks
Oh,
really
that's cool.
magical. Like when people do it, like, how do they make that happen? It's
Mhm.
actually really easy. But
Huh.
yeah, the seawater does kind of sting your eyes a little bit, but it's not
Can
that
you
bad.
can you if visibility is really good, can you see pretty well or
Eh,
kind
Not
of, sort of?
great. You can see, the blurry shapes of things that are coming to eat you. Yes, no, I'm just
No.
kidding.
That's great.
No, no, the ocean is a very pretty safe place, quite honestly. And
Mhm,
sharks are their ferocity is overrated, I think. I
mhm.
think they're much safer to be around than people say. So most things in the ocean are not out to eat you. They're just beautiful.
You should talk with, another author, Emily King, and she is constantly doing stuff with sharks. Like, she goes out and dives and
Oh,
watches all the
wow.
sharks. She's done so much stuff, and her videos freak me out. Wow.
I've been wanting there's a dive called Stewart's Cove dive where you dive with
Mhm.
sharks, and I've heard people have done that. And I've seen a couple of sharks diving, but it was a nurse shark, the very tame. Saw a
Right,
reef shark once. The only shark I really don't want to see when I'm underwater is a great white. That one's just no thanks. They're
right.
just too big. And I don't know if you saw 47 meters down, but that movie
Yes.
freaked me.
Oh, it's like, man, part 2 of that, you knew when everybody was gonna die. You don't
Yeah,
make declarations and stuff unless, you just gone.
yeah,
That
yeah,
movie was insane.
yeah.
Oh, nope. Freak me out to no end. So, know you wanted to do the whole thriller aspect, and you did that great with ocean stuff. Where did all this crazy time loop with this island and stuff all originate from?
When I set out to write it, I didn't have the time loop in my head, but I think I've always been fascinated with Groundhog Day, which is not the same genre. I mean, that's just comedy. It's rom-com, but
Right.
I love the idea of time machines messing with your reality.
Mhm.
And I've watched Star Trek Next Generation enough. Yes, I'm a geek to watch all the creative things the writers did with time and strange time loops. And I wondered if there were weird time loops, uh, would there ever be a mental effect of having your life played over and over again? Most of the time, storytellers don't deal with any kind of weird mental effects. They just, oh, and here I am, and it's that same morning again, and I get up and I
Right.
have breakfast, and it's the same guy is talking to me about toast in the same way he did yesterday. But my thought was, what if you know, slowly over time, having your these time loops messing with you started to fracture your peace of mind, and you started to feel the effects of it. And how would you behave? How would putting a character under that kind of pressure affect how the characters treat each other? It's bad enough they don't have enough food and water, and now they're also just feeling this sense of wrongness on the
Right.
island. So I just wanted to. I like the idea of that extra layer of there's an outside force, and it's messing with you, and you're not sure what it is, but it's always there. That ever present sense that, and she even calls it the sense that
Mhm.
something is wrong in with the world.
You did really good with this. I mean, especially it's your debut. I
Well, thank you.
mean, it definitely it's been keeping me guessing of what exactly is going on, and then of course they find the other guy out there, and and then you find out, where he's from,
Hmm.
and you're just like, okay, what is going on? Are they actually in the Bermuda Triangle or something along the same lines? Or, what is going on? Because, like, at first when they got there, I was thinking, okay, maybe it's just like some experiment gone wrong or something. And
Hmm.
oh, it's like you don't know. You don't
Yeah,
know.
and there's a lot of just gradual reveals because she's trying to figure out. I mean, that's in a way, the structure of the book is a little bit like a mystery.
Hmm.
And a lot of mystery novels, it's about who killed somebody, but
Right.
here it's not about that. It's about what is this place
Hmm.
and what's going wrong here. So she slowly follows these clues, and she has these red herrings of sorts, and then finally ends
Right.
up like, oh, that's what it is. But it's a pretty big reveal coming up. You haven't gotten to it yet, so I'm not going to ruin it for you.
Right. It's like one part that I had gotten to where she's out trying to get food for everybody, and then she sees the shark that they had saw earlier, and then she sees the boats. I'm like, oh, is she going to be able to, take everybody with her, get back to that boat before the attack happens, and maybe save
Mhm.
everybody?
That's a great idea. I'm not going to tell you whether or
Like,
not that
hey,
happens.
is that going to work?
I think
I love
that would be
science
lovely
fiction
if
and
she could.
fantasy, so
Yeah. I mean, there's so many, that's the thing about time loops. There's so many ways you
Right.
can write the story
But then
because,
it's like, is she seeing this as it's actually occurring, or is it more like of the mirages that she's seen on the beach that, aren't really there?
and that's part of the problem, is that
Mhm.
when she sees things like that, and when she has memories of her
Mhm.
grandmother,
Right.
and when she sees the future and what has already happened, but she thinks all of that is starting to blend together, and she can't tell
Right.
the difference between fantasy, reality, memory, and what's coming. And that's and what I was trying to do is kind of create a dreamlike state for
Mhm.
her and a lot of the other survivors, so that they're on this island, but they they are um, you don't know until pretty far in exactly how much control they have over what's happening with the time
Mhm.
loops. Can they do something else with these time loops? What's going to happen um, when they finally figure it out? Are they able to just return to their lives the way they
Right.
did, or is there going to be permanent effects?
Well, you
So,
did a phenomenal job with this, like, seriously,
oh,
because I
thanks.
mean, it is keeping me on my toes, and I cannot read fast enough. But we got home, and because I use an app called Bookly, so once you've done so many pages, it'll tell you, like, how long you have, and I'm like, "My show's in 3 hours, but it says I'm gonna finish it in 4. No! No!" Jennifer said that it had a Stranger Things vibe, which she thinks students will relate to. I think I would definitely agree this had very, very Stranger Things, that
Hmm.
newer sci-fi creepy feel to it,
Yeah, and
and I definitely think that kids will definitely, of all ages, will want to read this. I mean, I'm in my late 30s. I love this. This is amazing.
yeah, I mean, I love sci-fi. A lot of the sci-fi and horror and thriller that's written for for the
Mhm.
YA market. It really is crossover. I mean, it's got
Right.
appeal to for adults. 70% of YA books these days are
Oh,
read
yeah.
by adults.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I've actually heard another. Cause some people who read it say Lost meets Stranger Things, more Lost than Stranger Things. I think
Yeah.
Lost meets Sphere. That's like one person said Lost meets
Mhm.
Michael Crichton's Sphere, or
Mhm.
something like that. But I think the Stranger Things part of it comes out of there's the movement in horror right now with horror that's just a little bit offbeat,
Mhm.
and where they're going to throw something at you and go, oh, here's something you've never seen before, and it's maybe even you might call it outlandish, but if you can
Mhm.
make it work, if you can make it um, put enough realistic detail in it, people will
Well,
just
this is
accept it
really
as
kinda nice
reality.
because it's not just, like, science fiction tossed in, with them stranded on the island and stuff. It's also kind of like, what is that? A reliable narrator because, of course, she's writing all these, which I love how you wrote this. And, like, she's writing letters to her dad who's in jail. That was genius. That was great.
Oh, thank
I
you.
love how you
Thank
wrote
you.
this. It works. I mean, it's just working so well because you don't really know if it's like to start out like, okay, well, is she writing this after all this happened, or is she writing it during it? And then, of course, you find out that she's doing it as events are happening.
Hmm.
And my brain just completely
That's
died.
okay.
And um it kind of, that she's not a reliable narrator because she doesn't even know what's going on. So that's kind of nice too, because it's not all set in, oh, well, she's, they're safe, they're somewhere, she's writing this
Hmm.
journal to her dad, and everybody's okay. And it's like, nope, that's not the case. So,
Hmm. Yeah, and the journal writing as a journal or as an extended letter was kind of
mhm,
risky because it can have not everybody likes that format because it
mhm,
can distance you from what the narrator is experiencing. So I had to
right.
try to mitigate that when I was writing it. But I really like the letter format because it allows you to tell a second level of story, because
Hmm.
she's cherry picking details specifically
Right.
for an audience of one. I
Hmm.
love that idea. Like, she's writing this story is meant for one person, her dad.
Right.
That's the audience. So um she has a lot of things she wants to tell him, and she's a teenage girl who sees him as an authority figure, and she has secrets. So
Right.
so when it comes to her feelings for one of the other survivors, she's
Hmm.
not going to say everything that
Right.
she's thinking. But also the way she feels about her dad. She has some issues with choices he's made.
Mm-hmm.
And she also has a family secret that she just desperately needs to tell him, which comes pretty late in the book. And a lot of times as she's telling the story of her adventures on the island, the other layer just sort of keeps raising its head into the letter, and her feelings for him. So that's what I think the letter is able to do, is kind of put those two stories on top of each other, so they're
Right.
happening at the same time.
I love also that you added a lot of humor to this, and I love it parts where she's talking to her dad about how hot Ben is. She's like, "Well, I'm sorry, I don't have an eraser. You're gonna have to live
Yeah.
with it."
Yeah, she has a golf pencil with no eraser. So she can mark things out, but she can't erase.
Right. She's like,
So
"You can scratch it out, but it's there. It's
it's
not
still
going
there.
anywhere." I really liked how, we're in this serious situation, but yet it still has some humor to it. It
Yeah,
worked
I
out
think
so well.
I went to this really great uh, this workshop at the DFW Writers Conference in
Mhm,
Dallas a few years ago with a great horror writer, Russell Connor, who
mhm,
doesn't write for the YA market, he writes adult, but he ran this horror class. And this is before my manuscript was finished. I was sitting there, learning from Russell. And he said one of the things about humor is really important in horror or thriller, because you just can't keep stretching your readers so thin with fear
right.
constantly. You can't just keep making them, they'll get exhausted. So you
Mhm,
have to break it up with something. And humor is one of the things that you can use to break the tension. And then everybody laughs, and then they can, oh, now I'm ready for some more fear.
right. A writing question was, or a comment was that, a lot of times that when they were reading, uh, a lot of times when I was reading books that are set in journal form like this, it felt too much like showing versus, or too much telling versus showing, and this doesn't do that. It does a good combination of both, so that they
Oh,
really
that's a huge compliment. Thank you.
enjoyed how you wrote it. And I definitely have to agree with that, because a lot of times, you're just telling, but then you're not actually showing the world, and you don't do that. She does a very good job. Sia does a good job of, showing us the entire scope of everything that's going on with her, inside her mind and outside and everybody else around her. So it was a job well done.
Well, I'm glad that that's a really huge compliment, and it is finding that right balance of showing and telling. Is they say always show, don't tell,
Right.
except when you have to tell. Sometimes telling a little bit, if you do it with voice,
Mm-hmm.
that's when you can make it appear like it works with the story a little better if it's voicey,
Mm-hmm.
so that you're not just skipping over the showing to. So yeah, but it can be really tricky to balance the two, and because those strict writing rules about you can only show, not tell. Any writing rule can be broken if you just massage it and mess with it the right way.
If you break it the right way.
Bring it the right way.
So now that your first book is done, have you already started a second one?
Yeah, I was actually working on it right before this, when I should have probably been double checking my tech. Um, no, I really had everything
Well,
set up
I should have had
perfectly.
this
Oh my
book
god.
done too. So, oh,
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm working on a ghost story, and
oh,
it has to do with the water to a degree, because I'm really attracted to stories having to do with the water. But it's about a girl who is she lives in Savannah, and she's been haunted for the last year. And what I mean by that is, it's not like her house is haunted. She personally is. Something is just attached itself to her and won't let her go.
no.
And I find that really extra terrifying as a ghost story, because a lot of haunted house stories, well, you just go check into Hilton and
Right.
you're
Leave.
like, I guess if then you send somebody in to cleanse the house, but you can.
Right.
But what if it never leaves you? What if it's just
Hmm.
you? And you can't get away from it. So I think that's pretty scary, and it also has to do with archaeology, because I'm a little bit obsessed with ships. So her dad is an archaeologist who is excavating a ship on the Savannah River, a
Oh,
colonial era
wow.
ship. And so there's that, and there's a beauty pageant, because I always feel like beauty pageant angst is something that I don't know, the pressures that we put on that women put on themselves
Mm-hmm.
to compete. I thought it would be a nice backdrop for the story. So, but I'm working on it's written. It's just I'm revising it. I'm hoping to be done with it about a month ago. So seriously, it's like, oh, I'll be done with this in April, and then
Right.
I didn't get it finished, but it's close.
Well, I definitely want to read that one. Sounds like a very interesting combination. But I love ghosts and stuff. Years ago, I used to cleanse houses actually. So
Really?
yeah,
Oh, wow, that's fascinating.
yeah, I done that for ages. So uh,
I would love to talk to you about that sometime. Like,
sure,
yeah, I know we can't right now, but
right?
that is very interesting.
Yeah, sure. You have permission to pick my brain.
Awesome.
So I've been staring at these 3 books since this started. What are the 3 books? I think it's over your right shoulder, maybe? The other? The other side. Oh, left shoulder.
This way? This way?
The 3 ones, it's got it like what, yellow, green, they've got
Oh,
bands across the top of them. Nope, keep going.
okay. No?
No, they're
Oh, yeah,
really
I know which
thick.
one you mean. You mean
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, those. What are those?
Okay. So this is Dante's Inferno.
Oh, okay.
And the other two, so his Purgatorio and Paradiso. So I'm a huge Dante fan, and I've actually played with the idea of trying to write a story that somehow brings in Dante. And I know people have done it a lot. I'd love to do
Right.
something like a fresh take on it, but
I
I
don't think
haven't come up with an
anybody's done
idea
that
yet.
for YA.
Not for I haven't seen it really done for YA, but I
That would
spent
be
a
interesting.
summer in Italy studying Dante and
Mhm.
eating gelato. That's mostly I was equal parts studying Dante and eating gelato, and 2 months and fending off bed bugs that were in my place. But
Oh.
that was okay. We got rid of them. But the yeah, that would be. I've read all 3 of these volumes, and
Mhm.
the imagery that Dante created for Inferno is just haunting. It's beautiful. It's well done. And everybody, of course, reads Inferno because it's the frightening part of that, the terrifying, can't look away, rubbernecking at a car accident kind of moment.
Mhm.
Whereas Purgatory and Paradise, everything is going so well. There are people like, the story's not really there.
Oh goodness. It reminds me of it was actually I think it was called Inferno, the newest Dan Brown
I
movie
didn't
out.
I didn't read that, but I remember
Inferno.
that came out, that he
Yeah.
had and yeah, there's the book and there was a movie, wasn't there?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't see it.
yeah. Oh, those movies are so good. I love those movies. But yeah, it uses parts of Dante's Inferno in that and his death mask.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I just never got around to seeing that. Because I've seen some of the other Dan Brown movies, but I haven't seen that one, which, yeah, I should.
It was good. It was really good. Right. Well, that is all of the questions that we have today. And I'm definitely going to finish this today. And then
Awesome.
I will tweet and Instagram out to you
Mhm.
when stuff happens. And guys, if you haven't picked this book up, definitely do so. You'll never want to step foot in the ocean again, though. So if you're getting ready to probably not go on a cruise since everybody's, still pretty much staying home and stuff. But if you're counting on going out into the ocean anytime soon, maybe buy it, but don't read it yet.
Yeah.
This is not something to read the day before you go on a cruise or something. That is for sure.
And it's not gonna happen to you. This glowing weird monster is not gonna attack
It's
you
not
on
gonna
your
get
cruise
you.
ship. Not gonna happen. You're just gonna get a sunburn. That's the only thing that's gonna happen on your vacation.
Right. Oh, I feel so bad for the people that go to like Universal and stuff and they are always in like little baby tank tops and I'm like, seriously, did you not read like the recommended things to bring with you? Shirts, long sleeves, do something thin, keep the sun off
Mhm.
of you because it's that sun is harsh.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right, well, thank you so much for coming on. I cannot wait for your ghost story now. Definitely.
Thank you so much for
Mhm.
having me on your show. I
No
appreciate your
problem.
patience
Oh
with
yeah,
my
we've
technology.
had so many different technical issues, especially when this is so much easier when I used to use Google Hangouts for this. You never
Oh,
knew if their computer was going to make them download something or they needed a driver, or who knows what came out of the blue. This is so much less hassle. So if that's the worst thing that happens, yes,
Okay,
we will call that an A.
we'll call that a B- on my part, but it's okay. I'm really glad to be here with you today.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. Bye, guys. We'll be back
Bye.
tomorrow.